last thing I remember. I went in around, I think my surgery is right at like 8:30 or something. But
Yeah.
they put my legs on the stirrup and my arms were out like this. And I was like, now wait a minute, y'all. I was joking. I said, now wait a minute, y'all. Y'all got me like Jesus on the cross. You have to crucify me. And so they were like, what? And I just remember hearing the nurse, they was cackling right before they gave me anesthesia. And then I came out of the anesthesia and I was back in the room where they took me out of. And I was like, I woke up, I was so tired, and I saw my friend. And she's like, they got 7 eggs, girl. I said, girl, come on now.
Come on,
And six,
seven.
and I said 7 eggs. Look, I came out and said 7 eggs. I said,
Come
come
on,
on, I want
number
them eggs
seven.
cracked.
Hey, you guys, it's your girl Artisha Ross and the host of Diaries of a Uterus, If Your Womb Could Talk, episode 2. Now, before we begin, yes, please make sure you hit that notification button, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and make sure you share. Listen, I have an amazing guest, a special guest, somebody I have been following and also cheering on through the TV screen. None other than my sister. Yes, we are sisters.
Yes.
Okay. I know she has a twin, but we are sisters. We all three, all of us. But none other than the Lateasha Lunceford, aka Sweet Tea. What's up,
Hey, how you doing? Hey, thank you for the introduction.
man? Yes,
Beautiful.
my boo, my girl, my girl, my girl. So, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule and hanging out with me. Like, it means so much. Okay.
Well, I'll always make time for you.
Thank you, boo. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so for those that do not know you yet, I want them to get to know you, the
Okay.
real Sweet Tea. So this is all about you, my love. Okay, and so I want to allow you to introduce yourself in your own words.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Hey y'all, I'm Lateasha Lunsford, known as Sweet Tea. I am originally born in Arkansas, from Texas. Okay. I come from a small, tiny town in Arkansas where my family's from. Cotton Plant, Arkansas. It's the home of Sister Rosetta Tharpe, the first rock and roll and gospel singer. It's
Yes.
inspired artists like Mick Jagger, also people like Elvis, and so and she sung alongside with Mahalia Jackson. So I always have to shine light on my family's
Yes.
hometown because it's such a small town and it's a piece of me. So, but I always consider myself a Southern Belle being from Texas. And my background, I come from a two-parent household. My parents were awesome. My dad, he was definitely a hustler. At the same time, he worked in construction. My mother was also a hustler. I got to see her grow up and, work for the government. And so that kind of inspired me to join the military. I grew up in a military town, Killeen, Texas. So it kind of inspired me to kind of join the military, the Air Force. So got into the Air Force, me and my twin, we went into it together. And I learned a lot in being in the Air Force, being a pharmacy tech, and I did other things. I volunteered for assignments, went active duty for a short period of time, and was an information analyst. And then that kind of led me in the intelligence field, which I moved to DC. And DC, I started work for Director of National Intelligence, worked there for a while, and learned different things there. And it was just really cool being from Texas, and then now I'm in DC. I'm driving past the monument every day. This is stuff I've seen in the history book. So I was like, this is my life. I really felt like
Oh,
I was like the modern day Olivia Pope. I was
yes.
living
Come
my
on,
best life,
Olivia.
just single.
Yes.
And yeah, I ended up I met my husband online and the rest has been history. I'm an advocate of women's womb wellness. As you guys know, I have endometriosis. And so I'm always posting things, shedding light on that condition because it's new to me. So I'm educating myself as well as educating others and other women because I see a lot of people online, they're not properly educated. So I just feel like
Yeah.
it's my it's my duty and to educate the public, educate women about these things, and just be an advocate. When I was in college, when my friends used to have all of these different issues and all that, I was one of not that I was a gynecologist, but I'd be like, let me see, I could tell what's going on.
Yes, yes,
They
yes,
were like, I wasn't afraid of that kind of stuff. So I was just
yes,
like, they would always come to me. And so, I would always go in and do a lot of holistic things because I didn't have access to medicine. I was a pharmacy tech. However, I had access, but I couldn't prescribe medication. But I always
yes,
would tell women to advocate for themselves when they go to their appointments. That was really important to me. And
yes.
so, I would make my own little concoction at home, little
I
tea
love
tree
it.
oil, peppermint oil, whatever, with a little, what I'm saying? Like I would just ask them to like mix some things up to, help soothe yourself down there. And I always come up with different holistic things. I do some research, and that really has led me to like who I am today and why I'm such a huge advocate. And so I'm a family. I'm a very listen. I love my family. I love being a sister girl, a homie
Yeah,
little friend. I'm always there for people when they need me. So I just kind of show up and just be myself. I just show up, be myself, my silly old self.
I
So,
love
yeah.
No,
So,
I do. I love that. That's why I fell in love with you through this TV screen. I was like, I feel like I already knew you. I was like, this my girl. This my sister. Like I felt it. Yeah. So, oh my gosh. Okay. Now you carry a lot of titles, right? You have a lot of hats that you wear. So you got first. Let's we're gonna go back. So you are a wife.
yes,
You are a mom to be. We're gonna put that out in the universe.
we'll put it out
Okay.
there. Let's put it out there.
You're a TV personality. Okay. So you're in practice management. You were in the
Yes,
government. Okay.
yes,
Government analyst. You're a uterine health advocate, endometriosis health advocate.
yes.
What hat that you wear feels most like you right now? Because you wear a lot.
Um, I would say, that's a good question. I think that the hat I'm probably currently using is wearing is just being myself, getting back to me. I felt like, after coming off the show, I really felt like not that I lost myself, but I
Mhm,
just needed to get back to real people in my
mhm,
surroundings and stuff like that. And so right now, my hat is focused really more so towards motherhood, and
mhm.
I'm doing all that I can so I can make it there. And that's important because that was the one thing that I felt like God put me on this earth to be, is to be a mother. And so when
Mhm.
people say that, they talk about infertility, and I don't always put that out in the universe, but it's like I have actually redefined infertility for myself, and I said that I'm in control of my fertility, no matter what
I
that
know that's
looks
right.
like.
I know
Hmm.
that's right. I
Hmm.
know that's right. Wow. Now, reality TV gave you a platform, right?
Yes.
Millions dream of. When you were in that world, did you ever imagine it would lead you here, sitting down to talk about your uterus,
I
your
actually
endometriosis?
I actually did not. Because like it was so new to me being on the show. I found out I had endometriosis on the show, and the way they told the story, they kind of told it out of order. And
Mhm,
so they made it, that was like the first thing I ended up filming, because I ended up trying to go to a Anita Baker concert, and I ended up
mhm.
not being able to like walk. I was like so sick, and I
Wow.
was like I couldn't walk. Like I was cramping really bad, and it was like a different type of cramp. Like I was
Mhm.
trying to get up the stairs, I could barely move, and so my husband had
Wow.
to come get off work early to rush me to the hospital. And so they were like, well, you had the cyst. And so when I did talk to Simone Whitmore, Dr. Whitmore,
Mhm.
she told me, she was like, it may be endometriosis related. So she referred me to a specialist. And that was
Wow.
like the one of the first things I filmed. And so, endometriosis is not diagnosed unless it's a surgical diagnosis. You
Mhm.
gotta get laparoscopic surgery. And
Mhm.
so, it's just strange like that. I was learning all this as I
Wow.
was going along. And so I was like, wow, I never thought that this would be more of the topic, but I don't
Mhm.
know. I do feel like he is ushering me in places where I'm going to be able to have a voice. And so I do love that. I'm loving this journey. So,
Mhm. I love that, babe. Thank you. All right, so let's talk about this. So for years, you were told your pain
yes.
was just a bad period pain.
Yeah.
So I wanted you to take us back where you were those years actually like living inside that pain. So were there moments you started to believe them that maybe it was just really just normal?
Yeah, it was time that I started believing them because um, I don't think that there's any studies about endometriosis being hereditary. But when I was younger, I remember getting my cycle and I was like, oh, I'm becoming a woman. And that first cycle was like nothing. But I remember I got it at my cycle at my grandmother's house in Arkansas. And then I came back to Texas maybe a month later and cramps kicked in. Like I remember I was like on the couch, like the exorcism. I was like, Mama, what is this? You know what I'm saying? I
Wow.
was like, Mama, what is this? And my mom was trying to pat me like, well, I had it like this when I was a little girl too. I'm like, this is the devil
This
just.
this
And so my
I
mom,
know.
and so my mama would tell me, she'd be like, well, this what happened because Eve ate from the apple from the tree. And I was like, Mama, why did Eve have to do it?
Why did she have to do that? Oh my
And so my sister,
God.
so my sister had the
Why?
same pain. So we were like, why Eve?
Why
And
you
that's
do
how
this
she
to
explained
us?
it. I know she probably laughing at me to this day because I still think about that every time my cycle comes.
Oh my God.
And
Oh
so
my God.
I was told that it was like normal. My sister, she hasn't been diagnosed with endometriosis, but she also has bad cramps and she's been able to have kids. She hasn't been diagnosed, but I thought it was a norm. My cousins had bad cramps. And so as I got older, I went in the military and I would go to sick hall, in the morning. I wouldn't feel good. I would go, they would usually give me a dose of like Toradol or something. They would
Okay.
inject me with Toradol. But
Oh, that's
they were like,
pain.
oh, it's
So you
just
were going through pain if you got on
yeah.
cortisol. Wow.
Yeah, they was giving me injections of Toradol when I would go in a sick call, and so, I would be okay, but I felt like I was taking obsessive medication with the ibuprofen and Tylenol PM, because I like to be knocked out
Mm.
sleep whenever I be having them
Yes.
cramps, and so I went to a doctor, a primary care doctor, and I lived in DC, and I kept telling her, I was like, I keep having these cramps and they keep trying to put you on birth control. And I'm like, I don't want to be on birth control. Like, what is going on? I'm not understanding that some people can come in here. I'm not, crapping on
Yeah.
the LGBTQ community,
Yeah.
but some people can
Yeah.
feel like I'm not supposed to be this. I want to change this. And I'm like, I don't feel like I'm supposed to have cramps. So can you change it? You know what I'm saying? I feel like that. So I need y'all to do something about that. I don't feel like this is supposed to be for me. And so
Right.
they'd be like, well, this is normal. Make sure you just take pills before a few days before your cycle. Make sure you take your pain meds. And I would do that, but I'm like, that's not doing nothing. I'm missing work. And so I asked to switch my primary care provider to a Black woman. And
Yeah.
eventually she actually referred me out to somebody else. And now that I'm here in Atlanta, I'm noticing that there's other things, pelvic rehabilitation and these different injections I received and all this stuff. I'm learning new things, and I'm like,
Wow.
we have
See?
to like. That's why I'm saying it's important to be an advocate, because I'm like, if I can help another woman with the information I'm finding out,
Yes.
great, so she can
It's
go
important.
on.
Mhm. It's important. It's other alternative treatments and
Hmm.
therapies that are like literally out there. So there's something so quietly devastating about being dismissed by the medical system. Mm-mm-mm. What did that do to you emotionally and mentally over time? Like how did it affect how you showed up in other areas of your life?
Ooh, it affected me a lot. I got very emotional, especially whenever I went to go see the doctor. I switched my primary care doctor to a Black woman, and so she was just like looking at me like, "Why did you switch?" Like, I'm gonna tell you the same thing, and I'm like, you need to care about this, because I feel like it's not just about taking birth control. Like, this is not normal. Like, we really need to do
Right.
something about this. I just didn't think it was normal, and they was like, "Well, it is what it is." They did refer me to a specialist, and they found like I had like a small fibroid,
Yeah.
and I had a cyst, but it was small. But they were like, "Oh, it shouldn't be painful." The doctors had told me like it shouldn't do anything. And I was like, "Okay," but I'm trusting their word because I'm not educated in this,
Yes.
so I'm just trusting their
Yes.
word. And so it started to really hurt my feelings because I remember going to my primary care and I was just in tears and I'm like, y'all don't have nothing else? Like I can't see nobody. Like I'm like, dang, I felt desperate. And so um, I felt some type of way because I was missing work and that can you missing out on your money. And so,
I know.
that can put you in a depressive
Right
state,
there.
And it's like I don't want to have this conversation every month, you
That you
know
got to keep going back and things like
yeah,
that.
to tell them like
It's,
I don't feel good. It's around that time. Like I'm not joking. Like, and I was to the point where I threw up when I was on my
oh my
cycle.
gosh.
I
You
would get
know,
so nauseous.
medical gaslighting is real.
It
And what's
is.
so sad is because you're going to someone that looks like me and you, hoping that they really understand.
Understand.
So if you don't believe us as a medical
Right.
Black doctor or
Woman.
provider, well, who gonna believe us?
Right. If you're not
So
gonna
that
advocate
is
for us,
like,
who will?
yes. So
Because you're supposed to have the answers. So you know what I'm saying?
come with the answers. Come with the answers, y'all. But it's a trip. Now, tell us about the moment everything changed. The leaking cyst that finally demanded answers. What was that experience like? Was you scared, T? Were you relieved, or were you like both at the same time?
I was scared, honestly, because I had a cousin that actually had a cyst, and she was told that she was not able to have kids, but she had issues when she was younger. And so I was just scared in a way, but I felt like I'm very optimistic. At the same time, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be okay. I'm just gonna get this removed and I'm gonna get back to life,
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm ready to have this baby. Me and my husband, we were actually engaged at the time. So I was like, okay, this is not gonna be a big deal. Like I'm gonna be all right.
you're
And
gonna be all
so
right.
when they finally referred me over to Dr. Davis over at the Pelvic and Fibroid Wellness Center, I was excited, to see a woman like her who actually cared.
Mhm.
Even with the cameras rolling, she was like, I don't care about that. I care about you.
Yeah,
And I appreciate
yeah,
that, And so she was just saying, she said some things like talk to me more about endometriosis. And she was like, it could be, sometimes some people with endometriosis struggle having kids. And so I remember the producers was like, "Do you hear what she said or whatever?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I hear what she said, but I haven't quite been diagnosed with it yet." So I was,
yeah.
they were like, "Well, you need to cry." And I'm like,
What?
I didn't really want to
I'm
cry
trying to
because I was
process
like,
it.
yeah,
I'm
I was
trying to
like,
process it.
yeah, I was like, I'm trying to process it. And I was like, they was like, right now you just sitting there like, but I'm like, but at the same time, like she has to go in and look at that to make sure that I, have what it is. And we don't know what stage of endometriosis it was. So I was
Yeah,
just sitting there like, okay, because I'm just a happy person. So I'm just kind of
I
like,
know.
okay, well, anyway, it's like going on about my day. Where we going later on? I'm gonna give you something to eat later.
You, oh my gosh, wow. So when the surgery confirmed stage 4 endometriosis, okay,
hmm
what was the first thing you felt, T? Like, what was the first thing that like you thought as well?
I think that I had I don't know if it's called imposter syndrome. Like it can't be me.
Uh-huh.
Like I got stage 4. I was just kind of in shock, but at the same time, I felt like, man, I wish they could have caught this a long time ago and looked more
Mhm.
into it. Because even when I was in the military back then, they gave me those shots of Toradol, but they weren't really often going and doing the ultrasound. But they weren't giving the vaginal ultrasound. They weren't doing those things. They were just, you would get just a
Oh,
pap smear, but they weren't really
yeah.
looking like that. So. I was just like, dang, I can't believe this stage 4. Like, I wish they could have been said something then. So I started doing more research on it
Mhm.
because I'm
Mhm.
like, well, what can I feel like the military owed me. So I was like, I'm trying to find some benefits from that.
You're right.
And a fan actually reached out and told me that if you are diagnosed with endometriosis, they can service connected. They said that they
Oh,
will actually pay for 3 rounds of IVF. And so that's what I've been working towards for them to pay for that.
okay.
Mhm.
Oh, that's a blessing. That
So it is.
is a blessing because It's a lot of money. Now,
So is.
stage 4 is the most severe classification. But for listeners who may not know what that means in the body, how would you describe it? I want you to be like real with it, like in human terms, not our clinical and all that. Like, how would you describe it?
So with
Because
stage four,
you're
it's like,
living with
oh,
it.
go ahead.
No, I'm just saying
Okay.
because you're living with it, T. How would you describe that?
I would describe that as you will have a lot of bad days. You get a lot of scar tissue. That's a lot of bloating that you have. There's times that you were going to be tired. I didn't realize the effects of how tired you are. Like I was like, damn. I used to go to a class and I used to jump. It was like a trampoline class where you would jump and
Oh,
good
like
music.
rebounding. Yeah,
Yep.
rebounding. Okay, okay.
And I used to do that and I loved it. And I realized right around when got diagnosed, I was so tired and winded. I mean, I'm a thick girl, but I mean, people was outdoing me way bigger than me. And I was winded. Like, this is crazy. And then my husband, we went to church and he took me to eat after church. And I was like, I need to go home. Like I was sweating and
Wow.
I was breathing real heavily. I was like, dang, this is not normal. Like, and I was so tired filming. I was just tired. Like I was working and then I was filming. So I feel like with stage 4, you go through a lot of the symptoms that they say. Some people don't get all the symptoms, but with the bloating, the brain
Mhm.
fog,
Yeah,
it'll mess with you mentally. You get a lot of
yeah.
scar tissue from the cyst. So, they come and go, like, between the cycles. You have cramps in your cycles and in between cycles. So it's just that your body's out of whack. So that's been my experience with stage 4. And also, struggling with trying to get pregnant. I believe that my window whenever I'm ovulating is a little smaller than
Okay.
others. So I
Yeah,
noticed that too. But it's a struggle, man.
yeah.
It's a struggle.
My love, my love, my love. So one of the painful ironies of endometriosis is that the only definitive diagnosis is surgical. What
Hmm.
do you think about that? So a disease that can only be confirmed by cutting someone open. What do you think needs to change about that?
Um, I wish we had better technology. We have AI now, and so
Yeah.
I've been doing research. I see that there are some things out in like Turkey, but
Mhm.
I guess I honestly the fact that you have to diagnose it via surgery, I mean, to me, it's more serious than what we think. You
Yeah.
know, it's more serious, and I think that it should be taken more seriously, especially when it comes down. Like I got FMLA right now,
Mhm.
um, because I get so tired or I don't feel well because randomly I get these cysts. Like I was having issues a few days ago. And
Wow.
so randomly you get these cysts and they're super painful and you're out of work. So I just feel like the fact that you have to diagnose it with surgery says a lot. And there are countries out there currently that are allowing women to stay at home
Yeah, I
and
saw that.
for that and work from home, like because of that. And so I'm like, I've been seeing these. I'm like, they need to go ahead and do that, and get it started here in the US. They got stuff
Right.
going on in Canada now, and they're allowing the women to work from home or have a certain amount of days allotted just so they can recover from some of these things. So I'm like, it's a real bad it's a disability. It's a real disability.
I see. Okay, so you mentioned your twin sister a little earlier. She's my sister. Hey, sis. So she experienced many of some of the same symptoms you did. So that must hit differently, right?
Mhm.
Seeing someone that you love walking in the same path similar to what you're on.
Yeah.
So have
Yeah,
you had an honest conversation about this?
we have.
Okay.
My sister, she's dealt with like, pain as well, but she had never been diagnosed with endometriosis. And, she had her first baby. She was 20, I think she was 28 when she had
Okay.
Isaac, 28,
Okay.
29, something like that. But it's difficult because, first of all, as a twin, you're compared to constantly. and so it's like, oh, my sister get married, when you gonna get married? She got a baby,
Yeah.
when you gonna have a baby? It's always
Yeah.
like that, and
Yeah.
that's been difficult. And I really appreciate my sister being very supportive, being there for
Mm.
me, and allowing me to love her kids as as if they're my own,
Mhm.
and so it is difficult because when she got pregnant, I was super excited. I was becoming an auntie, but also around that time she got pregnant with my nephew, I was like, I felt like I was missing something too.
Mhm. Mhm.
My my family always like, I always seen you as a mom. Like they always
Mhm.
felt like I was the more nurturing one, you
Yeah.
know. And so there's a little bit of there's no jealousy, but it's just like, oh, you want those
Yeah.
things.
Mhm.
And so when he was born, he was such a light to us. And so I would see the
Mhm.
way he would look at her, and he loved his mama so much. And I was like, I want a little baby. I want a baby to love me
Mhm.
like that too.
Well,
And someone to take care of, because I'm a
yeah,
caretaker by
it's gonna
heart.
happen. It's gonna happen to you.
Hmm.
I'm a firm believer. We already talked. It's gonna happen.
Yes. We're gonna
It's
call it,
gonna
we're gonna
happen. Oh my
thank
God.
God in existence.
We got to. Okay, so there's no genetic test for endometriosis. No way to know for certain without surgery, right? So, how do you navigate that uncertainty with her or within yourself? So, do you think your sister would ever go and check to see if she has endometriosis, or you think she's like, okay, I'm gonna just kind of chill back?
I think that she's just kind of chilling and going with the flow of things. Like right now, she has her two kids. She still has cramping, but she said it got better after she had her kids. And so I
Okay.
hear that from a lot of women, like their cycles got a little better after they had kids, and it's not as painful. And so she was like, she doesn't know if it was because just
Mhm.
giving childbirth is just hard, and then you just become
Mhm.
mentally stronger. She was
Yeah.
like, or is it that it doesn't get better, or is it that you can tolerate the pain more because you've been through childbirth, one of the worst
Yeah.
things you could ever feel. So
Yeah.
I'm always like interested. I always actually wanted to have a child just so I can get rid of the cramping. That kind of sound crazy, but I was like, I'm ready to get this over with, so I can live my life the way I want to.
Right. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what would you say to families watching as a daughter, a sister, or a mother suffering who keeps being told is just cramps? So, what should they be saying to the doctors, right? So, what should they be kind of like their notebook, or what should they be demanding?
I think that's when self-love and advocacy comes into play, because you know, they don't know your body like you know it. And so you gotta if someone ain't listening to you, go to the next one. I don't care if you gotta
Mhm.
keep going to somebody else, to
Mhm.
another primary care, or make sure they specialize, go to a specialist, someone that specializes in endometriosis or fibroids. Like, you gotta be an advocate. If they not he's saying the right things, go to the next one.
Mhm.
Because like you there's so many, first of all, there's so many medications out there, like,
Yeah.
for pain. So it's Tylenol, there's ibuprofen, there's naproxen, there's
Mhm.
hydrocodone, there's all these different things. And so I'm just like, you have to advocate for yourself and do what's best
Mhm.
for you, because they
Yeah.
don't know. Some of these people, they never experienced for themselves. They don't know. And so that's why I'm like, I'm really big on research and these
Mhm.
support groups, and hearing what other people say. If you got to travel, go ahead and travel. I was just
Yeah.
talking to my younger brother about that, and he has an autoimmune disease that we're unsure of what's going on. He's been sick, and I
Okay.
just like, you need to advocate. If they ain't saying the
Yeah.
right thing, go to the next one. If you're not feeling better, you need it. Because I love my brother, and I want him to be able to advocate for himself. And I'm like, if you need me come out there, I'll come out there and with you, and we
Right.
go to the doctor, and I'm gonna let them know. I was
Yes.
like,
Because
y'all ain't saying the right things.
sometimes that our loved ones be afraid because or they don't know what questions to ask. And so I love that. I love that you're like, look. check this out. This is what we gonna do. I'm on my way. Love that.
And
I
if
love it.
family members out there, they should educate themselves, do the research, and sit in with your loved one that has endometriosis,
Mhm.
experiencing it. Make sure that you are speaking up for them, because sometimes with endometriosis, you get brain fog, you tend to forget. You know, anxiety sets in, depression sets in. Be there for your loved one and speak up for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So you said reality TV can spark conversations about health, right?
Hmm.
But it often doesn't provide the education women need. Can you give
Yes.
us an example of what the gaps look like in practice? Because, and here's, as you've seen your own diagnosis discussed, well, it was misrepresented, right? In
Yeah.
public spaces. Talk about it.
Yeah. So, when they showed my journey, like it was new to me. But I remember going to BravoCon, and this is right when season 10 was airing back in 2023 in November, and I was at BravoCon. And so, you know, I spoke to the producer, and they were like, "Oh yeah," I was like, "Are you guys gonna show?" Because the first episode was gonna be about me, and it was called I think it was called something, the sweet tea or something, sipping the sweet tea, something like that. It was the first episode introducing who I was. And I was like, well, oh, you know, in my head, I'm thinking when we film this, I'm thinking it's going to be shown in order, because I'm like, well, that's the first thing that we film. And so they was like, oh, no, we're going to, I asked the producer, I was like, oh, are you guys going to show with me going to the doctor, seeing Dr. Davis? And they were like, no, that's going to be until later. And I'm like, why is that until later? I mean, I didn't understand that. And
Yeah.
so, like, and then they didn't show it until after me and Gregory had got married. And then, like, you know, I was telling people, if you go back to the scene, I was wearing brown. And I was like, I actually just had my engagement ring on. You didn't see a wedding band. So I was like, the way they told it was so out of order, but it was just, I guess, for shock factors, you
Yeah.
know? And so I was just like, I don't like that, you know, and not only that, you know, some of the cast members, one of the cast members was like telling my story for me before I even had a chance and had a platform. She had a bigger platform than I did. And so she was talking about me before I even had a chance to even talk about it, because she was like, she had this condition, she was bleeding out on the floor. I told Jackie she can get a new uterus. And I was just like, what are you saying? And, you know, that's some personal stuff,
Wow.
you know? And so I just felt like it was really effed up that she was doing that. And I was like, and I kind of felt like producers also supported that, just to get the people talking, to say, oh, you know, she's this young girl, she said that she can give this man a baby and she really can't, she lied about, you know, it sound good, right, for
Yeah.
TV. But
Yeah.
you know, I just kind of felt like, I didn't like that, you know. I just felt like, especially for a show to be about like doctors and doctors' wives, I just think that we got to do better, as especially with
Yeah.
the producers. We got to do better with educating the public. I mean, at the end of the day, we are still doctors and doctors' wives. You know, we still are
Yeah.
advocates. So I just feel like, I get that we're trying to film a TV show, but it don't take all that for that. You know what I'm saying? It don't take all that to be successful in that.
Right.
So I just felt like that was weird. So I didn't like that at all. You know, it actually hurt my feelings, that
Mhm.
because this is a real thing that I'm going through. And not only that, I'm getting talked about, you know, about my looks or how I'm bloated, all these things. And these are things that I'm actually experiencing in real time, that I'm actually, this is a real condition. Although we can
Mhm.
make, you know, you can make jokes and all that, but I'm still experiencing this in real life. It hurts me. And so it was difficult in the very beginning going through that. And, you know, my mama didn't raise no punk. So I, you know, I was out there like,
Hello.
okay,
Nothing
let me
give
get my
up.
little platform on YouTube and talk my stuff too. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? At the same
Yes.
time, you know, I was like, okay, well, let me actually educate people in real life and people that are willing to listen and learn. And so that's what I did. I mean, I talked a little shit doing it, but you know, but I did what I had to do.
And it's your story to tell, not
It's my
nobody
story
else's
to
story.
tell.
It's my story. It's a real life story.
Right. And I'm like, you notice that people are trying to tell your story don't have a story. It's like,
Hello. All right. So here's the thing. So there's a version of your story that could have stayed private, right? What made you decide to go public, specifically with something as personal as your reproductive health? Was there a moment when you knew you had to speak up on this?
Well, when I first started the show, like at first I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I just was like, I was on the fence in the first place, but I remember them coming to my house and I was like, what am I going to talk about? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm
Yeah.
like, I work for the CDC, you know, 'cause I work from home. So I'm like, what are we talking about? I don't get what I'm supposed to be doing. And
Yeah.
so, they were like, oh, they sat down with me and we just started talking about, what's going on with me in my life and all that. So I just started talking. They was like, oh yeah, well, we can go to your appointments and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm thinking that, okay, well, this is going to be an opportunity where I can tell my story. I don't know the outcome, but I guess this
Yeah.
is going to be a part. I mean, this is what I'm really going through. So they're like, oh yeah, well, we can get clearances to come to the clinic. And so I was like, okay, I guess we can do that. And so I actually went to Simone at one point. And so I
Okay.
think that's how they were trying to make the connections.
Like urgent it.
Yeah, so they try to piece a story together, and so I was like, okay, and it was crazy because I was like, okay, well, I remember coming downstairs in my cowgirl boots, and they was like, okay, they was like, okay, we see you, girl, from Texas. I was like, and I just started talking about what I've been up to, and they was like, okay, well, we gonna do this, we gonna do that, and I was like, whoa, this is a lot.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, this is a lot. And I was nervous about telling the story because I was like, I don't know what's to come. Like that first
Yeah.
appointment I had with the show was actually nerve-wracking because I didn't know what the hell they was gonna tell me. You
Right.
know? So I was just kind of like,
Uh-uh.
it was weird
Yeah.
because I never had anybody in my appointments with me other than like my mama, my husband.
Yeah. And it was
So
like
I just thought that
everybody,
was
all
weird.
eyes on you.
Yeah, so it was a
Mhm.
weird reaction because I was like, I'm nervous at the same time, but also I'm like, okay, I'm trying to listen to her, but I'm like, this is personal, so I'm
Yeah.
afraid. It was new to her too, but
Yeah.
she did a really good job when she was explaining things. But she knew what they were trying to do. That's why she pulled me to the side and was like, I don't care about none of this. I care about you. If you don't feel
Yeah.
comfortable with them in here, then go ahead and leave. But I was trying to be a good sport, making sure I do a
Yeah.
good job. This is my first time filming. And I
Yeah.
wanted to, anytime I try something, I try at least one time. And I try to do the best I can.
Well, you did, boo. Okay, so reality TV often frames women's pain as drama. How do you fight that narrative, especially when you're someone who came from that world?
Um, I actually tried to turn that pain into purpose for myself. And of course, it was dramatized, but I just wanted to make sure people received the message in the end.
Mhm.
And so I did my part. And that's why I set my platform up on YouTube. And I would get on Instagram and I would invite doctors on there to educate the public. I'm like, if y'all ain't going to do it, I'm going to do it, you know?
Right.
So that's what I did. I was like, I'm gonna start this YouTube. I'm gonna get on my Instagram. I'm gonna invite doctors on here, and we're gonna talk about real stuff, real life. And so, because I didn't want the message to get lost in all the drama. Of course, you got the drama, but that ain't really who I am. It's just that you bring it to me. If you bring it to me, I'm going to counter, of course. But
So do what you got to
you
do.
gonna get this lesson. You gonna get this message.
Li- Hello. Hello. Now, what's the most dangerous misconception about endometriosis that you keep seeing online on TV everywhere? What does the truth actually look like?
So the misconception that I see is that, oh, you can't have kids. I mean, if you go down my comment section, it's always someone like, you lied about your condition. I'm like, how I lied? How you lied? Why do you think I lied? Like, why would someone lie about that? That's something that's real to me. And so
Yeah.
the fact that people like you can't have, and then they'll attack you, say you can't have kids. That's not true. That's only some people. But it's
Mhm.
not it's not that I can't have kids. Not only that, I'm with an older man, so it's going to be a little harder for us, but I was willing to try and work that out. And so it's
Mhm.
just like people just say the most craziest things, I guess, for attention. But
Uneducated.
yeah, uneducated, ignorant. It's like and like
Mhm.
my daddy like to say ignorant.
Ignorant.
Ignorant. Just ignorant.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, I understand you want to be ignorant, but
Right.
since you here, let me some people say don't respond. I don't always respond. But sometimes like, no, since you here, let me educate you real quick.
Okay. Let
Right.
me help you.
Let me
Pull it
help
to the
you.
seat. Pull it to the seat. Let's go ahead.
Yes.
Let me show you the whiteboard. And let me go
Yes.
ahead and let's go ahead and pull up a dictionary too. Because you
Right.
must don't know.
You don't
You
know.
know what? It's real though. This is real. Now, after your diagnosis, you learned your ovarian reserve is lower than expected. For women who don't know what that means, can you walk us through that discovery and what it meant for you? How did you receive that news emotionally to you?
Um, I didn't really receive it until after the surgery, and the doctor told me, like, I had a higher reserve before I had the surgery, but when you get the surgery, that will compromise that. And so I didn't know, and so I had a higher reserve, but after I got the surgery, it went to down to like a 1 point something, which was like a low. Oh, I think it's called AMH. I can't remember. It's something hormone. It's a hormone. That's how they measure
Like a
your
luteinizing? Luteinizing? Is a luteinizing
it
hormone?
is something. I wish I had my laptop open.
Okay.
But it's called AMH level. So, women out there, make sure you kind of keep track of what your AMH is, because will tell you
Mhm.
about your ovarian reserve and how many eggs you have. And so I found that it was like lower. At the same time, I was being optimistic, where I was like, well, dang, and
Yeah.
it was weird, because I was like, me, why do I have
Hmm.
such a low? But Dr. Davis was telling me, she was all like, well, that's okay, because she was like, you can still have kids though with a low AMH. She just said that I think she even said that she know people that way lower and been successful. So
Wow.
I was like, okay, so I was optimistic again, up until I went to fertility clinic, and then the fertility clinic reminded me, because I don't. A few months went by, I recovered. I was recovering for a year with after the surgery, and so
Okay.
I went to a fertility doctor, and I guess it set in again, and they was like, well, your egg count is kind of low. I went through IUI and all that, and they were saying I didn't have
Yeah.
too many follicles. The follicles, they
Okay.
grow at a certain level and a certain size, and they hold in the egg. And so
Okay.
once they get a certain size, they hold the eggs, and they will, when they do the egg retrieval, they retrieve the egg, and the eggs have to be at a mature state in order to be fertilized or frozen to be used. So
Okay.
the doctor was telling me, it was like, yeah, you have a low ovarian reserve, and I'm just like, what? I guess
Kind
I
of
like when
process
I
it.
just forgot, in a way, like, what, I hear what you said, but I don't
Hmm.
really hear what you said,
Hear what you're saying.
but
Hmm.
God, like, it's
Right.
like, he gonna bless me.
Right. So as you're preparing to freeze your eggs, okay, as a part of your fertility journey, that's a significant step, right? Physically, financially, emotionally. What has that
Mhm.
process been like so far? And what do you wish someone had told you before you started?
Um, the process is overwhelming, because you have to try for at least. They want you to try for at least a year. I
Okay.
mean, and to make sure that, if you're having trouble. So then I tried, I went to the VA, I did the IUI first, and I did that twice, and I didn't like doing it.
Okay.
And I was unsuccessful doing the IUI, but it's a low chance doing the IUI. That's why a lot of people just go straight to IVF. It's like,
Okay.
I think it's like a 15 to 18% chance that you can get pregnant through IUI. It's pretty low.
Okay. It's
And so
pretty
I didn't
low.
want to waste no more time. I just feel like, I
Mhm.
kind of want to go on to the
Just push
IVF.
through.
So
Yes.
yeah. And so just trying to get my body prepared for it was just a lot, because I had a what is it called? A polyp. So they had to remove a
Mhm.
polyp. And then I've had cysts here and there. And at one point I stopped, because mentally it was like overwhelming.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
everybody's in your ear, take maca root, take folic acid, take CoQ10, take and isotal, take all prenatal vitamins, take your,
Mhm. Mhm.
it's like all this stuff. Everybody want to tell you take all this
Mhm.
different stuff, and it's like vitamin D. It's like I got so many. I'm not good at taking pills every day, And so, but also, at the time, I was stressed out from the show, so I didn't want to waste my money either
Yeah.
of going through this process and having them film it, and then these bitches are stressing me out. I'm not going
Right.
to compromise my womb and my child for these hoes. Sorry.
Right. We're not doing. No, you don't know why you're sorry. I told you why I fell in love with you. No, no compromising. And
Mhm.
from someone that experienced infertility before we had our child, oh, all of that what you're saying is so real. You got to take this. You got to take that. It's everyday stress. Now I wasn't on no show, but I left a nursing job because it was
Mm.
so stressful. And I was
Wow.
like, oh, this is too much. So how can you prepare your body under stress?
Yeah, that's I was like, I mean, I was working at the same time, full time,
Oh my
then
God.
doing it was a lot. Like working full time, then filming, and when you film, sometimes you have two scenes, and I have to drive myself cross town in Atlanta, crazy traffic.
Oh
I
my
might be in Southwest
God.
Atlanta one day, and then I gotta go film over here in Alpharetta. Then I could come back, and I have sometimes I would have two, three scenes in one day, and I'd be tired. I would be so weak. And so I was like, I'm not about to go through all this. And these people are not giving me the support. They're not giving me the
Mm-hmm.
support. And it's not genuine
Mm-hmm.
because they're only doing that. Because at one point they were like, well, go talk to Jackie about your fertility journey. Why would I go talk to her? She has not really reached out, asked me about anything. Like, I understand that we're filming a TV show, but at the same time, you guys are supposed to connect us in real time. Like, I'm like, I speak more to Simone more than I even talk to her. And I said that
Okay.
she's not going out of her way saying, hey, you good? No, she was only doing that when the cameras was on. And so there was times they were like, well, go talk to her about it. I'm like, well, why would I do that? She's best friends with someone that's dragging me for my fertility. That
Yeah.
makes me look dumb to even
Yeah.
go on there and talk to her about it. She don't
Yeah.
speak
Yeah.
up. So I'm like, no, she's not
And you're a big
advocating for
energy
me.
person. I could tell you're a big energy person. So why would I want to put that
Share
energy
that.
in my space?
Yeah, we're not. So I was like, no, I'm not. And I was like, I would never forgive myself if something happened to my child or
Uh,
because of the stress I'm putting on my wound on my child. Like I would never forgive myself. I would never forgive those people. And
mhm.
so I was like, nah, I'm not doing it. I gotta come off of this. I need to focus on me and I need to focus on my marriage.
Hello.
It
No, it's real.
is. It
It,
is.
it, it's real. No one have time for it. Now, endometriosis and infertility are so intertwined, right? And yet,
Mhm.
so many women aren't told about the impact on fertility until it may be too late to have options. What needs to change in how doctors deliver that information?
Read the question one more time. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. So, endometriosis and fertility are so intertwined, and yet
Mhm.
so many women aren't told about the impact
Okay.
on fertility, right? Until it may be too late to have options. And what needs to be changed in how doctors deliver this information?
Um, be better doctors. Be better doctors. I mean, I've come across some really good doctors. Like recently I saw this doctor for pain
Okay.
and she spent some time with me.
Wow.
She spent a good 20 minutes with me and we got a little personal. Her name is Dr. A and she's here in Atlanta. Deals a lot of like she's a pain medicine type of doctor. But
Okay.
I connected with her and she was like, this don't work, we're gonna try this. We gonna keep trying, we gonna keep trying to figure out what's gonna happen, and so and then she's like, and if that's not gonna work, we gonna refer you to somebody else. Like I just feel like doctors need to, connect more with the patient. And
Mhm.
somewhat like don't get in my business, but get in my business, not get in my business a little bit. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
and include you.
And,
A lot of doctors, what I've seen too, is more so like, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. I need you to do this and that, but not thinking about the patient as a member and including them in their care.
hmm
It's
hmm
something about when a doctor includes you in your care, you feel like, okay, we doing this together instead of I'm on this island by myself.
hmm Yeah, I mean, I
You
learned a
know?
lot from like, being with my husband. And sometimes, he takes things so personal. If he's not able to help someone or, you know, he would let me know so and so, he won't say any names, but he's just like, I have a patient that's really sick. And, he thinks about that at night, he stays up at night thinking about that person. And so, you know, I mean, he's done some things to really help patients and gone out his way. Like I remember he had purchased a refrigerator from one patient, he could, they were sick, but at the same time, I remember he was like, they don't have much family, they need this. And so he went on his way to do that. And so, you know, I would love to have a doctor that's an empath, someone that would place themselves in my shoes or would care about me enough to do those kind of things and uplift me. And I will say Dr. Davis has been one of those doctors and another doctor named Dr. Taylor here in Atlanta at Pelvic Rehabilitation and Medicine.
Mhm.
And both of them have been like, they check in on me, make sure I'm doing okay. Is there anything you need? They know that I, really want to have a child and they want to see that too. And so it's just like I love to come into an office and I feel warmth, I feel loved,
Mhm.
and someone that's going to advocate and they want these things for me. I love that. Like I just I'm a girl. I love love and I give hugs. Like I give my I give
I'm a
my
hugger
doctors
too.
hugs like, hey.
I'm a hugger too. Yes. Man, and kudos to Dr. G2 for just stepping up to the plate and just loving on you. And then also loving on his patients. Like that's
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
You don't find that. You said Dr. Davis. You do not far few
Yeah.
between. I'm telling you, you do not find that a lot. Now, what does motherhood mean to you in this season? Does endometriosis change how you see that dream or does it deepen it?
Mm, I feel like I have a mission, I feel like my motherhood has been a mission for me and I'm not stopping until I get it.
And I
I feel
love
like
that.
that regardless, I've had, ups and downs and even with my husband, ups and downs, and my husband's like, let's just adopt, let's just do this. And sometimes I feel like he's not as supportive. He's a great doctor, not always the best supporter in a way, but I have been preparing for with this egg retrieval. And so I was like,
Mhm.
just in case, I wanted to bank more eggs just in case anything were to
Okay.
happen. And so I
Right.
plan on doing another egg retrieval after this last one I did. And so it's just been a purpose and a mission that I'm on. Like that's what I'm going to be. I know it regardless of what happens. I know it's going to be me. I just know it. And until then, I've just been taking all my medications, my vitamins, making sure I stay healthy.
Yeah.
And I'm even in like mom groups. Like I even walked over to the child care center on campus of where I work, and I even got a pamphlet to find out like, what is the waiting list for the daycare, and I was like,
Yeah.
can I sign up?
Yeah.
Because it's a long waiting list. So I was like, can I sign up?
Oh,
So I've been on a mission just preparing. Like this is what I want. This is,
you're creating that energy, T. You're creating that
you
energy,
know.
creating that bubble. Like you're putting it out there into existence and it's gonna come back to
Mhm.
you tenfold. You have to. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
Now, you mentioned vitamins, supplements, stress management, and research as pillars of your current wellness journey. Can you walk us through what a day of caring for your womb actually look like? What does
Hearing
healthy look
from
like for you?
Okay. So lately, I've been honestly watching more what I eat. Like I've noticed that like red meat, I can do some red meat, but I can tell that I'm very sensitive. So I've been listening to my body because
Okay.
not too long ago I got really sick from eating red meat and eating steak. And so I was like, okay, my body
Mm.
doesn't like this. And I look up like different fish and all that because I want to make sure that I'm feeding my body the right things, especially with my blood type. Me
Mhm.
having endometriosis, what benefits me. So I feel like lately I've been a lot more focused on like my health and what I eat. And also, with exercising, I can't really exercise as much as I want because of me going through this journey and then I have issues. So I do like very low impact type exercises. I go for walks. I recently and then I focus on my mental health. And so I recently got a puppy, and so my puppy Tater Tot. Hopefully, I can grab her and you can see
Yes,
her. But
I
my
can
puppy
see.
Tater Tot, I got her, and so she kind of keeps me active. I go walking with her and stuff like that, and she mentally, she makes me. I treat her like a baby. I'm like her
Okay,
mama.
so they are fur babies.
Yeah, they're fur babies. I'm like her mama, so I be talking to her almost like she a baby. Like, I'm like, come on,
Mhm.
girl. Like, mama gonna come back later. I'll be talking to her like that. And she
And,
gonna
and
give you a
believe it or
treat.
not, they be paying attention. I feel like they know what we're talking about.
They do. They do.
Oh, okay. So you said that reducing stress and creating space in your life, it plays an important role in managing endometriosis. That's such a holistic perspective. Where did that understanding come from? How did you learn about that?
Honestly, just through just my journey in general. And with me being an Air Force vet, like I don't talk about it enough. I struggle with depression and anxiety. Just based off of like in my past and
Okay.
from like leadership and having issues with that. And so I realized when I did have anxiety, I'm like, mine is a terrible thing to waste. And so one of the things
Mhm.
that I would do is like I would drink tea to kind of calm me down in the
Mhm.
mornings, because it kind of started. Actually, I started having anxiety really bad in like college. I noticed it, and so
Okay.
I wanted to make sure I got that under control because it affects my breathing. I start to
Yeah.
panic and stuff like that. So I just started really focusing on my mental health. I thought that was super important. And so, I make sure that I meditate. I was just talking to my nephew today. He's 6, and he had a crystal around his neck. And I was
Yes.
like, he said, "Mama got me." My sister lives in South Africa now, but he
Yes.
told me that his mama, my sister, got him a crystal, and it was like a blue crystal. And he was like,
Mhm.
"This is good for meditation," And I was like, "Oh," I said, "Well, do you know what meditation is?" He was like, "Yes." He said, "Sometimes I sit like this and I sit, calmly and I manage my emotions. And sometimes it's good for Mimi too." I said, "Okay, well, educate me."
Yes. Educate me.
I
Oh
said,
my
"Okay, boy,
God.
he's 6 years old. He know what he's talking about." It's like,
Right, right. You know what? My little guy, he'll be 7 next month. And believe it or not, sound bath therapy tea is awesome as well. Those sound
mm,
bowls,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
yeah,
I
you
gotta
need that
try
in your
that. I've
life.
seen that, and I've seen them in the pool too.
Yeah, T, I'm telling you, it is so calming. And I do that with him too because it's like, okay, it's been a rough day, or even before you start your day.
Oh, see, that's good. I love that you implement those things into your child's life so they know
Mhm,
how to manage their emotions. They know
mhm.
how to manage stress so because it helps. And so,
Yeah.
and then me seeing other people in my family and how they did not manage stress and how that cut their life short. I don't want that
Mhm.
to be me. And so I've learned from a lot of people I've watched growing up to
Yeah,
take care of my mental health.
yeah. It's
If you don't
important.
have this, you don't have anything.
It is so important. It is so, so, so important. Now, what do you do when your body is in a flare up, right? You have a full life to show up for work, relationships, obligations. How do you move through that?
Ooh, yes. So I say this. I prepare for the worst. I
Okay.
like, for example, they have me coming back in the office every day. And so I now got a new supervisor who's actually understanding me more. And so he's
Okay.
allowing
Good.
me to work from home at least 2, 3 times a week. Also, I did go to my doctor, my specialist that specializes in fibroids and endometriosis. They gave me some FMLA just in case.
Mhm.
So I've always just been trying to prepare for the worst. And also I have a lot of, I have different pain medicines that I have on
Yeah.
hand. I got my
Yeah.
heating pad that
I know that's right.
I got one in my bed, and I got one that I travel with. I don't play about that.
Mhm.
So just in case, I got my little medicine bag to keep my medicine. I got medicine in the car, and I got medicine in the house just in case. So I'm always trying to prepare for the worst. And it's so funny. My husband always know, like he always know what I got. He'd be like, "Okay, I know you got it. Did you bring this?" And so I prepare. Even when I went to Japan recently, I went and I was looking into the medicines that they had
Mm.
there, and I was like, okay. I ended up getting some like heat patches for
Yes,
cleansing and all that. So I
yes.
was like, I brought a lot of stuff back from Japan with me, and so I plan on hopefully going to China later this year and doing
Ooh,
some doing some research on Chinese medicine and stuff like that, and
yeah.
so I can
I
learn
believe in it.
their
I,
ways.
I believe in the different herbs. I really do. I really,
Mhm.
really do. So, living with a chronic condition that's often invisible to others can be incredibly lonely. How do you tend to your emotional health, not just your physical health? So, I know that you talked about, hey, I'm big on in meditation, but anything else that you do that helps to anchor you?
I really lean on like my friends and family. They really, I mean, I got amazing friends and family. Even my in-laws, like they're amazing.
Mhm.
I remember when I went through my laparoscopic surgery, my sister-in-law, she's in Chicago, and she was like, I can't be there, Tisha, but she went and she had her girlfriend delivered me some food. She made me fresh pressed juices and
Oh
all
my
that, and
God.
I was like, man, my in-laws well, I don't even like to say in-laws,
In love.
in-loves in-laws
In love.
are amazing bomb people. And then, my mama came out to see about me. My
Mhm.
girlfriends, they're understanding, they're always leaning on me. So I would say like my support system around me, like they're amazing. And like, I get emotional thinking about them because even recently my husband had to work, but my friend came with me to my egg retrieval, and she picked me up, and then we went together. She was just amazing, such a support. She's always giving me words of encouragement, uplifting me, and she's just been there to hold my hand through it all. And I
That's
can't thank
beautiful.
them enough.
That's beautiful. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, that's so beautiful. Now, you've spoken about giving yourself some grace, want to give yourself some grace. So that's harder than it sounds for high achieving women like us.
Hmm.
What does grace actually look like for Lateasha, aka Sweetie, on a hard day?
Grace to me on a hard day, my mom always likes to pray this like serenity prayer, and she talks about, you got to let go of things that are not in your control.
Hmm.
Like some of the stuff is just not in my control. Give it to
Hmm.
God. Like if it can't get done and I'm busy, it won't get done. Or
Hmm.
I'm learning to delegate for others. I have a great support system, so anytime I need something or something can't get done, or even with my husband at the practice, um, I've hired people in place that I can really depend on to
Okay.
get things done for me, which is I'm thankful for. And so I do give myself grace. I've done a lot better because I used to think that I had to do it all. Like I had to do it all and still show up, and I would feel so guilty for not being
Hmm.
able to do it all. And I was like, no, use your resources. Like, if I don't feel like doing something or something needs to get done, I
Yeah.
know now I'm hiring someone to do it. I'm calling somebody
Right.
to get it done. I don't
Right.
have to take on all by myself. And
Hmm.
so that's what I do. And I'm starting to, that's part of my self-love journey. I'm starting to
Hmm.
in motherhood, like I'm starting to just delegate and use my resources. And I love it here. Even when it came down to decorating, I was so tired. I said I still wanted to look like Christmas around here. I'm gonna go hire somebody from Task Rabbit, and they're gonna come and help me decorate. And I told them I want this here, that, and
Yeah.
I was able to, and that was the best money spent. I sat my after it was done, sat out with my heating pad and my blanket, and I drank my little tea, and I was like, it's done.
I love I love it. Okay. So, what does womb wellness mean to you, T? In your own language? Not a clinical definition, but what does that look like to you? Womb wellness.
Womb wellness to me is really honestly loving yourself, loving your womb. Your womb holds a lot of power throughout your body. It matters. Like your gut, your
Hmm.
womb is so important. I
Yeah.
mean, that's your path to motherhood. That makes you a woman. Like that's who you are. And
Yeah.
so make sure you take care of your womb, take care of your body because it's going to take care of you. It's going to give you what you need. And so I talk a lot about like femininity and all those things,
Mhm.
and all those things matter when it comes down to your womb wellness. Make sure you feed it good things, make sure you take your herbs and all that. And you don't always have to constantly take vitamins, but make sure that you're drinking your teas, looking
Yeah.
up different herbs that will feed your womb healthy things. And so I think that whatever you put into it, it'll give back to you, tenfold, and in a loving manner.
Yeah, I believe that. Ugh, wow. You described a responsibility to use your platform to bridge the gap between what women see and what they need to know. What does that mission look like concretely for you today? Like, what are you building? Oh, I know you're building, baby. It's happening. Okay. But what are you building and what are you working like towards with this?
So currently, I'm just really rebuilding myself, and I'm rebuilding, like, I'm actually building a lot more like support friend groups and stuff. You've probably seen me with the doctor's wives, and
Yes.
I love those girls. Like, when we first got together, we got together for brunch and all that. And then we decided that we were going to just start this Doctors Wives of Atlanta thing. And so, we do film content. We go and volunteer around Atlanta. We try to use our resources to plug the community back and with our husbands, and to make sure that our community is taken care of. And so we do a lot of like volunteer work, and we do have fun. We have fun too. But it's amazing just being around them, because um no matter what's going on, even when we film content, if I'm feeling some type of way, they be like, okay, we gotta do this today. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? So I've been like really building a great community with those women. And I love the journey, because although we're not on reality TV, but we go through real things. And and our personalities are all different. We've had our moments, we've had somewhat our little spats here and there, but like, we really come through for each other. And I love that about this group that I'm a part of now.
A real
um
sisterhood.
yeah, it's a real sisterhood. One of the girls, she lives in the neighborhood around, and so she wasn't feeling good, so I was like, hey girl, I'm gonna come over there and give you some stuff I got from my doctor, so you see if it
Yes.
works. I gave her a little suppository. I was like, check that out,
Yes.
because that might
Yes.
help. And
Yes.
then even, she's a psychologist, and so even she has offered, her services if I ever need any help or need a doctor's note or whatever, I'm going through a bad day. She has offered her services to me, that, she will write me a letter for work if I need to, because she knows that I go through a lot. And so I really appreciate those women. And even with my friend Jen, I recently told her some news, and she prayed for me.
Yes.
She checked in on me, and she was like, she wanted to be there. She wanted to intervene. She wanted to be there. I'm like, man, I can't. Gabby's amazing.
Oh,
I'm probably the closest with her, and she's so loving. She uplifts me. She has such a bubbly spirit. And so, just to share those women with the people that I love, and then also with our community, and build something that's meaningful. And we've been getting our name out there. We just volunteered at the Steve Harvey golf tournament, the foundation there. So we volunteered there and met a lot of good people, and a lot of other medical professionals that have asked us to come and support them. And and then they want to support us. I just love like the community,
yeah.
the community that we're building, like, and the connections that we're making. It's been amazing. So I look forward to what we are going to do with it later, and how we're going to grow into a
It's
bigger,
growing. It's
into
grown.
bigger
I love it
platforms.
because it seems so genuine. It doesn't seem like it's forced, and
Hmm.
you guys all have it going on. So
Oh,
it's
thank
just
you.
it's beautiful to actually see us, okay, coming
Yeah.
together and making a impact on the community.
Hmm. Hmm. They're my
It's
girls,
like
man.
I'm like, hey, okay. So now I wanna ask this other question. Self-advocacy is a phrase that gets said a lot, but in practice, it can feel scary, especially in a doctor's office.
Yeah.
What does real self-advocacy look like? What are the actual words? Because again, we have a lot of doctors that gaslight us. They do.
Mhm.
What does that look
Mhm.
like for you?
Self-advocacy for me is, making sure that you are writing things down, keeping notes of, what's going on with your body, and make sure sometimes, I think that self-advocacy is a challenge. Make sure that you challenge these doctors and also champion for others. And
Yeah.
so I always make sure that, even if although they do what they do, make sure you ask a lot of questions. Make
Yes.
sure you ask question after question. Write it down if you need to. And so I have learned that over time because I remember even with my sister, she had issues when she was in she deployed to Afghanistan, and so she came
Okay.
back and she had a lot of things going on. And before she even came back, I was advocating for her while I was in the States and she was in Afghanistan. And I was
Mhm.
like, make sure y'all taking care of my sister. Like she's going through this. And, I
Mhm.
was over
Mhm.
here trying to connect with people on Facebook, trying to make sure my sister had everything that she need. I was sending her them care packages. So it's just like, you advocate for yourself, but you advocate for others. And so, and you
Mhm.
learn with advocating for others, you kind of learn how to advocate for yourself,
I
as you
believe
do
that.
that.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that. That's true. That is true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've hosted your own platform and appeared on your own podcast and other podcasts. What story keeps coming back to you from another woman's experience that changed the way you think about this work that you're doing?
Um, I would say honestly, anytime someone talks to me about just about endometriosis, I get passionate, or they've been dismissed, and that fuels the fire in me. That's like the fire for me, and I'm just like, I'm so loving and caring. Like, I get excited. It's kind of weird because I do get excited about that. It kind of reminds me of how my grandmother, she's like a prayer warrior. She get
Okay.
excited for Jesus. I get excited for these kind of things. So I'm like, in a good way, and it feels the fire
Yeah.
in me, and I want to help others. And anytime I tell my story, I tell it in a way of people like you and me do understand. Because
Yeah.
everything ain't got to be wrapped in a pretty bow. I have to say it
Mhm.
in a way of like in medical terms. I'm gonna say it how like a homegirl would say it. Like, hey,
Yeah.
this is what's going on. Like, make sure you
Mhm.
advocate for yourself. Make sure you ask these questions because like I take I feel like I take heed more to people that are just more relatable. You
Just
know,
relatable and real.
and real,
Just
authentic.
cut
And
out the
I love
BS.
that. Like when you
Yeah.
just be you and you're confident in yourself, I freaking love that. Like a lot
Yeah.
of women, they probably wondering because on TikTok, that they probably got random follows from me because I'll be like, she's just talking about this and she's brave. And then I'm looking at her other videos. I'm like, this girl's dope. Like she's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get excited about that. So like, if you guys see me out there and I follow you, don't be alarmed. I just think you're dope. So
I love it, T. Now, for the women listening right now who has been in pain for years and keeps being told it's normal, what do you want her to hear directly from you?
it's not normal. It is not okay that you're feeling this way. You need to find another doctor to speak with. If you need to, you can reach out to me. I have resources for you. I'm willing to share. Make sure that you follow get into some of these support groups. Because you never know, you may have a woman in your area that have found a loophole, whether you're struggling with, paying for medication or insurances, they may have a loophole out there. There's even women that are overseas that are experiencing these things, and they have things out there for you overseas. You might need to travel. So, like, don't allow no one to tell you this is normal. This is not normal. It's not okay. And you need to make sure that you are advocating for yourself,
Yeah.
get your support going, get you a friend. And, we're going to fight this thing.
Hello. Now, we're going to do something a little bit different, okay? So I'm going to ask you a question and you're just going to spit it out. What comes to your mind? You ready?
Okay.
Okay. So the symptom you dismiss the longest. What symptom you dismiss the longest?
That got dismissed the longest.
Hmm.
Um, Menstrual cramps.
Okay. Here's another one. The thing you wish OBGYNs would say more often.
This is not okay.
Love it. One supplement you won't compromise on.
Ibuprofen. I mean, well, that's medicine, but supplement, that's medicine. Well,
You're
what,
like,
I
no, I
mean,
need this for my inflammation. Okay. I need it. And my pain. And my pain. Okay. The
uh,
book, account, or resource that changed how you understand your body.
hmm, I would say married to medicine.
Okay.
Hmm.
The biggest lie about women's pain you want demolished. You want it to be gone.
Um, that you can't have kids, infertility.
Okay. What does a good uterus day look like for you?
Mm, a good day. Pain free.
Okay. And one thing you tell your pre-diagnosed self. One thing.
We're going to find the answers.
I love it. Jen. I love it. 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 So you are in the middle of your fertility journey right now. You're still in it. You're
Yeah.
not on the other side, but it's happening. What gives you hope? And what are you most proud of becoming through all of this?
What gives me hope is just really seeing all the other women that are going through what I'm going through becoming mothers.
Yeah.
Like I've been on a rabbit hole via Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and just to see like their journey. And so I get on there, and then you usually click just watch, and I'm like, oh, this is maybe a year ago. Then I
Uh-huh.
scroll up, they got a baby.
See?
Right there, they got a baby, and so one of the things that's giving me hope is just honestly just my family. Then my family,
Mhm.
just being around them, gives me hope. Like I just feel
Mhm.
like eventually it's gonna come on God's timing. I recently been filming myself. Every time I go to the doctor, I've been laying down and I've been doing my own. I keep laying down every time I lay on the table and I have to do the ultrasound, the vaginal ultrasound. So I keep doing that, and so I even did that when I did the egg retrieval. And so one of the things I plan on doing, I'm gonna just keep filming myself doing that, and one day I'm gonna lay down and gonna lay my baby on my chest.
Love it. I love it,
Mhm.
see. Where can our listeners follow your journey and find the content you are creating around endometriosis, and women's health?
So you guys can follow me on Instagram, the real sweet underscore T. And then also I have my TikTok is at the real sweet T. And then also you can follow me also on YouTube, the real sweet T. And then also sometimes I do content that I collaborate with the Doctors Wives of Atlanta. We're on YouTube and we are on Instagram and TikTok. So they're at the
Yes.
Doctors Wives of Atlanta.
Yes. Now, is there anything we didn't get to today that you want this community to know?
The only thing I want to say that after having my egg retrieval, I this is my like testimony to other people. And so regardless of what the doctor says, you sometimes you have different outcomes and only God knows, the outcome of your body and what's going to happen. So I'm just going to tell my testimony. Whenever I went in to get my egg retrieval, before I was doing my injections, the doctor told me that because I have a low ovarian reserve, that they were only going to get 0 to 3 eggs. So I was a little like kind of bummed out about it. I kind of felt some type of way. And so there's people that sometimes get like 30 eggs or whatever. And so I was like, dang, I'm only going to get 0 to 3. And so I go in there. And of course, I'm always being silly, my silly self being optimistic. The last thing I remember, I went in around, I think my surgery is right at like 8:30 or something. But
Yeah.
they put my legs on the stirrup and my arms were out like this. And I was like, now, wait a minute, y'all. I was joking. I said, now, wait a minute, y'all. Y'all got me like Jesus on the cross. You have to crucify me. And so they were like, what? And I just remember hearing the nurse, they was cackling right before they gave me anesthesia. And then I came out of the anesthesia and I was back in the room where they took me out of. And I was like, I woke up, I was so tired, and I saw my friend. And she's like, they got 7 eggs, girl. I said, girl, come on now.
Come on,
And six,
seven.
and I said 7 eggs. Look, I came out and said 7 eggs. I said,
Come
come
on,
on, I want
number
them eggs
seven.
cracked.
Yes. Come on, number seven. Come on, number seven. Will
Yes.
you allow me to pray with you?
Yes.
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this thing. All right. So, Father God, we just want to come to you and just tell you thank you for this budding friendship. I lift my sister, Lateasha Lunceford, aka Sweet Tea, to you. I'm asking you to protect her, cover her, cover her mind from the top of her head to the bottom of her feet. I ask you to remove whatever is blocking her from being able to conceive and have this beautiful baby or babies. I'm asking you to remove any scar tissue, Father God. I'm asking you to remove any type of bondage, any type of barriers. I'm asking you to remove pain, Father God. I'm asking you to just let her be able to see better days ahead. We are asking you for a positive pregnancy test. We are asking you for a healthy pregnancy. We are asking you for a healthy baby. We are asking you, and we're coming together and we're standing on your word, Father God,
Yes, God.
because we know that this is going to happen. We
Yes,
believe in you. We believe in you, Father God. And I just want to tell you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, God, because it's happening. It is already done. It is written. She will be a mom. She will birth a child.
yes.
Thank you, Father God. Thank you so much. In
Thank you,
Jesus'
God.
name we
Thank you.
pray. Amen.
Thank you.
Boo,
Amen.
I love you.
I love you
Like literally,
too.
this was so great. I got some things for you that I am going to be sending out. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
We got a couple things. So I am going to be, so I have a book. It's called The Uterus Bar. Um, So as you know, I am a hysterectomy survivor, fibroid warrior, and ovarian cyst warrior too. So I created a book to help women to prepare, educate, and help them to thrive after having a hysterectomy.
Okay.
However, I'm going to be sending these two babies to you. Okay, so we're gonna link up and get all the information. And so this is Artisha's blossoming womb tea. Okay, so it's
Okay.
gonna help you to have a healthy and happy womb. Okay,
Okay.
it is good for endometriosis, fibroids, ovarian cysts, painful menstruals. Okay,
Okay.
so it's going to be helpful for that. And then I also have a happy womb roll-on oil because some women they use
Oh,
the
okay.
castor oil packs, and sometimes
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my gosh, I don't want it to get so messy. So I do have this. It's going to be there for you. It has an
Ooh.
affirmation on there for you too, my love.
Oh,
And then
awesome. I
what you
love that.
do is it has three different oils, but that have been soaked into herbs for a very long
Okay.
time. And so it has magnesium, sunflower, and
Ooh.
castor. And you can
Okay.
just put it in your belly, just belly button, roll it. You could put because
Okay.
I am a heating pad girly. Okay. Okay.
Got
Hey.
the heat
The
blanket
reason
right
why I
here.
don't have it on right now, y'all, I'm in Viva Las Vegas and I need a fan in just a second. Okay. Going through the
Right.
menopause. Oh my gosh. But you can put it on, place your heating pad and or a red light therapy because that works, or you don't have to.
Okay.
But I did this
Okay.
because for the girlies that are on the go. So I'm going to be sending you this. I also have 1 second, my love. My lymph flow lymphatic tea as well. So I'll be sending
Ooh.
you that too because that's another thing. When you get a chance, I'm going to help you look for a person that is a certified lymphedema therapist, T, because
Okay.
when you're going through those different like that pain like that,
Mm-hmm.
manual lymphatic drainage does help. It
Okay.
helps
Okay.
remove that pain. It helps soothe the pain. It helps remove like any type of toxins and it helps with inflammation.
Okay.
So
Oh, yeah, I
I
need
really
that.
feel like that would be like really, really
Yes.
helpful. Okay. Somebody, and then if they use red light therapy, it helps as well. Okay.
Oh, thank you so much. You're so sweet.
Thank you, my love. Listen, you guys, make sure you follow my sis, the Lateasha Lunceford, aka Sweet Tea. Okay, on all her platforms, like she told you guys. And again, you guys do not forget to subscribe, like, or share. And if you know someone out there that's going through any type of common reproductive concerns, have them please to email me, okay? I'm going to give you my other one, 208lymphatics@gmail.com. They can either email me at Artisha, Artisha, Rawls, Rawls, at gmail.com. hello.theuterusbar@gmail.com, or also hello.theuterusbar@gmail.com. So I'm giving you all my emails just in case, okay, something don't go through. All right, you guys, again, have a great day. My love, I love you. And I can't wait
Me
to come to that
too.
baby shower in real
All
time.
right, all right now. Look out for your invitation.
All right, bye, you guys.
Bye. That was nice.
I don't know. Let me see. How do I wait? I want to make sure. How do you stop
Awesome.
recording? No, it's okay because they can do their thing. They'll edit that out. Hold
Yep,
on.
they'll edit it.
Okay. So stop recording.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's still
You will
recording.
receive an email. It's okay. It
Oh,
says you will receive an email notification when the cloud is
oh,
ready.